It's that season of the year when we so often think about giving things up. What does that look like in 2021? Giving things up. Maybe we should give up dining out or traveling. Maybe we should give up going to the movies. Maybe we should give up hugs. Wait, we've already done all that. You know, I was talking to a parishioner this year who said, I never thought I'd live to see the day when a knee replacement would be a luxury. I was told I had to give that up. I have to wait for a better time for my knee replacement. And I think so many of us can think back to a year ago, last March. When we were here for Ash Wednesday, we had no idea exactly what was coming. But by mid-March, we lost Mass. Something we never thought could happen. We couldn't come to Mass for months. And in that disorientation, a bunch of stuff happened that first week. I don't know what that week was like for you, but I immediately had to cancel a trip. I was supposed to go speak at a parish mission at my buddy's parish in Tampa, Father Kevin, who maybe some of you remember who's been here before. And I had to cancel it, and I knew full well I wasn't going to get the airfare back. And I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself, but then I walked into one of our local restaurants to talk to one of our parishioners who owns it, and she had just had to lay off all of her wait staff. They had just had to do that. And so I couldn't worry about myself at that moment. Although we didn't have to lay off any staff, but the staff weren't allowed to come in. So I was there opening every piece of mail, dealing with every phone call all by myself. And you know, I started to feel that feeling of, I can't believe how hard this is. This is way harder than I expected. And my friend sent me a screenshot of a tweet from Twitter, and it got my attention big time. It said this. If you can't read it, it says, honestly, hadn't planned on giving up quite this much for Lent. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. So because we're entering another Lent where we're giving up so much, I wondered if there was a different approach that we could take to Lent this year, a different lens to look through, maybe to take Lent and turn it just a little bit so we can find a way. And I would say that by the summer and the fall, one of the things we've been hearing about was about self-care. Maybe you've been one of those people to have those conversations with folks that say, you know what, when things are like this, you've got to make sure you get plenty of sleep. You've got to make sure that you're eating nutritious food. You can't eat junk. Your immune system needs to stay strong. You need to exercise. Get out. Make sure that you're moving your body. Make sure that you're moisturizing. Make sure that you're detoxifying. We were told to do all of those things. And I think that provides a really good lens for us this year. For Lent, to do all of those things, not for our body, but for our soul. What would it look like to do care for our soul? What is it that our soul needs tending for? What is it that we can direct some tender, loving care toward in our soul? Now, you might say, gosh, Father, that sounds kind of weird. Are you getting all new agey on us? And no. No, I think this is really important. I think this is one of the ways that we can take a good, solid look at what we could do to take responsibility for this part of ourselves that so often we just take for granted. It's almost like we could look at the next 40 days as though we had just gotten a gift certificate to a world-renowned soul spa. We get to go to the soul spa for 40 days, and we've got a big menu that we can look at. And we get to decide, what do I want to do for my soul? Am I going to do a seaweed wrap? Am I going to do a massage for my soul? Am I going to do a facial? What am I going to do? What would eating and sleeping and moisturizing and detoxing look like for our souls? I think maybe we can use an old-fashioned formula to take a look at this for ourselves today. And one of the ways that the spiritual teachers have always told us we can approach Lent is by three things: starting something, stopping something, and deepening something. Stopping something that's not good for us, starting something that would be good for us, and deepening something that we've already started or dabbled in, but we could go a little bit deeper. So if we were looking at the menu at the Soul Spa where we have our gift certificate and we were going to decide what we want to start, maybe we could consider, what is something that my soul has been wanting that I've been putting off? It's something I could always put off. Is there a morning time ritual that my soul has been wanting? My soul knows I need quiet time in the morning, but I never get up for it. I never have enough time alone with God. Is my soul saying, I want to go for walks in nature? Is my soul saying, it's February and we haven't had a fire yet this whole winter. I want to clean out the fireplace and have a fire and gather the family around it? Is my soul saying, I want to send cards to people who I know are going through grief, people who've lost a loved one or people who can't get out of the house? Maybe your soul is saying, I want to get more serious about giving away money to the poor. I want to get more serious about that. I want to really dig in a little more deeply. All of those things are so nutritious for the soul. They provide such nourishment for the soul. So maybe you want to take something off the start menu. Or maybe you find yourself drawn to the detox menu. Those are the things that we need to stop doing. Maybe there's something in your life that needs to stop. For a lot of people, I hear all the time, Father, I've got to get off Facebook. My blood pressure requires it. My sense of security requires, I've got to get off Facebook. Maybe this is a time to detox from a device or from something in social media, from a platform. Maybe it's time to detox from words like shoulda, woulda, coulda. Those things that we do to ourselves. Maybe we need to detox from that. That's a very, very good way to look at how Lent can help us. How there's foods that if you eat them, you feel like garbage? For a lot of us, if we eat sugar, we know for sure we're going to feel lethargic, we're going to feel bad. There are so many things that are like that for the soul. So many things that we could do to not let that happen. What are the foods that are making your soul feel lethargic and listless? What could we give that a break from? How could we detox? And maybe if you look at this gift certificate menu, you're thinking, maybe I'd like to deepen something. That's always an interesting thing, because that menu is where you take something that you've already dabbled in and you go deeper. It's kind of like if you have someone in your family, maybe your mom always was a doodler and always loved, making little sketches, and you said, you know what, I'm going to sign her up for a drawing class. I bet she'd love that. And then she goes deeper into it. That's the kind of thing that we're talking about for Lent. So you're, just by being here, we know that you're someone who believes in going to Mass and worshiping God. So maybe you'd like to deepen that by joining one of the small prayer groups that takes the readings from Mass and then discusses them in a small, very cozy format with people that you trust. Maybe you'd like to take the little black book that we mailed you, and if you didn't get one, you can call the office. We'll make sure you get one. If you have the little black book, maybe you've already got some morning prayer time, but you could add this for Lent. It would give you just a little more perspective from a different angle. Maybe you've been someone who has been donating to the food pantry for years, and there's something in you that says, I want to deepen that. I'm going to call Diane up, her number's in the newsletter, and I'm going to volunteer. I've been giving money to the food pantry, but I want to get a little dirtier than that. I'm going to go help unload the truck. I'm going to go there and help out with the distribution. That's something that I'd like to deepen. Maybe you want to gather a community around the livestream Mass. I know some of the folks that are here now, normally on a weekend, when there's a larger crowd, they would be more tending to stay home. Well, that's fine. I'll tell you some of the things that I've heard from folks. There's a woman who, she watches the livestream Mass every week at 9:30 with her friends, her roommates from college. They're all in their 80s. One of them lives in Chicago. Another one lives in Pennsylvania. Together, they watch the live stream from St. Patrick's. And then they get on Zoom afterwards. And they visit with each other and they talk about what they heard at Mass and about the readings. Maybe you'd like to do something like that where you deepen. Think of what you're deepening there. That woman is deepening her connections with these beloved people. They're in their 80s. They went to college all those years ago, and she's growing in her faith. We all know what it's like when we see someone who's not taking good care of themselves. You know, we worry about that. A lot of times when we go to visit people who are homebound, we'll say, oh, we'll worry, we'll talk afterwards. Oh, she's not taking good care of herself. We're really worried. She didn't have any good food in the house. I can tell she's not sleeping. She looked pale. The same thing is true with our soul. You know, we can neglect our soul, and we think we're passing. We think that people can't notice. But if we were ever to compare ourselves to what we're really able to be at our best, we would know for sure. So God has given us a beautiful gift certificate today, and it's redeemable anytime in the next 40 days. And we can use it to start something nutritious for our soul, to detox or to deepen. So we should get busy because our soul wants to be exfoliated. It wants to be pampered and moisturized. And we've got to get ready because the day is coming when we'll be leaving this place and heading to our true home. And our soul is all we get to take with us.